Hey, ladies and gents, thanks for joining me, Sahami Pinard, owner, founder, creator, whatever title it is that you've given me at this point of Awareness LLC. I created Awareness to be a resource to those who are going through any type of mental health battles, those who are looking to help other people with mental health illnesses. We're here to be of service to you. I created God in Therapy, which is what you're tuned into now, because I felt like I was only giving you half of what you can use. For me, when I went through depression, grief, loss, toxic relationships, and things of that nature, it was my faith along with therapy that really helped me break through all of that. I did therapy for a good moment and it helped, and then I needed something more. Here comes God. He was there the whole time, but I started to actually acknowledge him, and that's really when I saw my breakthrough. So that's the point of God in Therapy, to tell you that you can go to both. For those of us who have grown up in the Black community or the Black churches, I feel like the narrative has always been that you can go to God and pray away everything. You need to be in church, be in your word, and that will be enough. But what happens when that isn't enough? What happens when I went to God, I prayed, but I'm still having crying spells? I'm still hearing and seeing things. My moods are still flipping from one thing to the other with no triggers. What happens then? It's time to go to therapy. It's time to use the mental health resources that God Himself placed here. Don't pray to God for an answer, but then don't use it. There's a story that talks about a man who was drowning. His town is actually being flooded, and a guy comes in with a helicopter. He's like, "Come on!" He's like, "No, God is gonna save me." And then another person comes with a boat. He's like, "No, God is gonna save me. Go ahead." Another one comes through with like a jet ski and a life jacket, and all these things that come his way. He's like, "God is gonna save me." What happens? The guy ends up dying. So now he gets to heaven and he's mad. He goes to God. He's like, "Why would you not save me? I was faithful. I did as you said, and you just let me drown." And God was like, "My dude, I sent you a helicopter. I sent you a jet ski. I sent you a lifeboat. I sent you a life jacket. You said no to all these things. So what happened?" So that's what I feel like when we say, "God, I don't want to use these resources that are here. I'm just going to keep going to you." Please, yes, go to God, but then use what He gives you to save yourself. That's what therapy is. That's what medication is. Sometimes you just need that added help. So do both. If the narrative has been that we don't do therapy, especially within the Black community, please, let's put that to rest. That is no longer the narrative that we're following. We are going to do both. We are going to both God and therapy. So thank you for joining. I hope that little spiel has made you want to subscribe. If it hasn't, subscribe. Do it anyway. And please share this with someone that you think will really help go through whatever battle it is that they may be going through. Today's message comes to me and to you from the book of Genesis. I've been rereading different scriptures that I feel like I already know. Like certain stories of the Bible we know. We know the story of Moses. We know the story of David and Goliath. We know about Joseph. But I wanted to go back and see, what did I miss in thinking that I already knew the story. So line by line, I've been reading and I got a message about timing. This specific one came to me as we were in, well, not we, as I was in the part where he got imprisoned after he was accused of rape, which he didn't do. Side note, if you haven't read the story of Joseph, mad tea, go back and read it. But he was in there, and there's the cupbearer and the baker of the Pharaoh who got imprisoned because the Pharaoh, I don't know, they pissed him off. So they're having these dreams and they're like, "We don't know what it means." And Joseph overhears them and he's like, "Well, God gives interpretations for dreams. How about you tell me what's going on and I'll help you?" They tell him what happens. Joseph understands what's going on. God allows him to understand it. And he goes to the cupbearer. That was the first person that came to him with a dream. And he says, "In 3 days, you'll be restored to your position. You and the Pharaoh are going to be good." So now the baker hearing this was like, "Hey, what about my dream?" Because he's like, "Okay, he got good news. I should be getting good news too." And Joseph's like, "In 3 days, you will be restored. Well, not restored. You will be taken out of jail, but you're going to be impaled." So it's like, ooh. And what happens? 3 day comes up, the cupbearer and the baker both are getting released from prison. And Joseph is telling the cupbearer, hey, please remember me. Like, tell the Pharaoh that I was the one that helped you, that I interpreted these dreams. Like, and I'm here falsely. I shouldn't be here. And the cupbearer is like, I got you. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure that he knows. And what happens? The cupbearer gets out of jail and he completely forgets about Joseph. Mind you, all the things that Joseph told him happened. And this man forgot the person that gave him peace in his moment of worry and anxiety. But that's for another day. And as I thought about this, I think the first time I read it, or several times of hearing, I was like, yo, that's kind of messed up. How did I help you in your time of need? I gave you a type of rest or a breakthrough, and then you completely forgot about me. And I feel like we as humans, we experience that. There are times that we reach a helping hand out to someone thinking that it's going to be reciprocated, and it's not. And I'm asking that you don't let that turn you cold. It doesn't diminish your trust. Keep being the person that you are, because it's not even about them. It's about your relationship with God, because God sees what you're doing. He sees the help that you're given, regardless of what's given back to you, and he's going to bless it. And trust and believe you want God blessing you, because man is so limited. You would prefer God to do it. So now Joseph is left in jail for, I'm going to say, another like 2 years or so. And here comes the Pharaoh now. He's having bad dreams. And the cupbearer all of a sudden remembers Joseph. And he's like, oh, shoot, there was this young man in prison with me that was able to tell me what my dream meant. And it all happened the way he said it. So the Pharaoh was like, go get him out of jail. They go get Joseph, cleans him up. He explains to the Pharaoh, this is what your dream means. This is what you need to prepare for Egypt. And he becomes second to Pharaoh. Everything aligns the way God told him. He becomes the ruler, because years before this, he had a dream where he saw his brothers lined up in a circle and bowing down to him. And he told them this, and of course they got mad, because who wants to hear that I'm about to be bowing down to you? No, boo-boo. Mm-mm. And he had a second dream, again, the same type of message. And I guess he didn't really get the vibe the first time. He goes back and tells his brothers, hey, I had another dream where you guys were essentially bowing down to me. And that's when they really started getting pissed with him. And that's kind of what started the chain of reaction to get him to where he was. Because Joseph went through being sold into slavery. His brothers initially wanted to kill him, actually. But he got sold into slavery, got made a slave in Potiphar's house, where he met the wife who accused him of rape after he wouldn't sleep with her, got put in jail. Then he was left in jail after he helped out the cupbearer. And fast forward all those years, that's when he gets the glory that God had told him about so many years before. But it was all about the timing. Had the cupbearer remembered him the moment he got out, I feel like Joseph would have been used up or pushed to the side. Maybe he would have gotten out of jail and just released and set free. But then what? Egypt was flourishing. There was no famine in sight. The Pharaoh was chilling. No bad dreams, none of that. So what exactly would they have used Joseph for if he got released in that moment? Nothing. So this gifting that he had inside of him, this blessing that he had for all these people, would have gone to waste because it wasn't his time yet. So you're so quick to want to come out. You want to start the business. You want to get past the hurt. You want to do all these things, but there's a process. There's a time for it. You're going to be healed. We're going to work through all that in therapy. You're going to come out with the business idea. You're going to get the marriage, the relationship, the house. All that is going to be there, but at the right time. You don't want to get a blessing before it's time, because it becomes a curse. Imagine, please put all conspiracy theories to the side, but imagine if we had the COVID vaccine, or whoever created it, back in 1990, or let's just say 1800 for you conspiracy people who may be watching this. There was no COVID or anything in sight. So, okay, I have this great product, but there's no need for it. So what happens? You get shelved, you get discarded, you get destroyed, and people forget about you. And now fast forward to the time when you are needed, they develop all these new things, forgetting that there once was something that could have been used for this, because time has passed. I forgot about you. I've moved on. Life has happened. But because Joseph came out at the right time, because you come out of this at the right time, your acceleration is going to look like you got cheat codes. Okay? It's going to look like, wait, what's going on? People are going to be upset. at how great things are for you. Why? Because your environment is clear now. The opportunities have been created. I'm currently working with a lot of high-powered women in therapy. And the one thing that I'm working through with them is their environment. There's one specifically who, not to say but we're currently working with the fact that her blessing is not for the company that she's currently in. She has the skills, she has the education, experience is just bananas. Like she has all of this, but the company that she's currently in is a smaller box. But they want her there. They want her to use all these big time expertise that she has, but you don't have an opportunity for her to fill it. So now they're trying to manipulate her and use her for things that she wasn't created for. And now what's happening? They're butting heads. There's strife. You're telling me that I'm not producing. I'm telling you, you're not giving me any type of headway. Like, what do I do? Where do you want me? They're not giving her that feedback because they don't have it to give. That's not the environment. It's not the timing. At some point, maybe in the future, that company will grow and they will need someone of her expertise. But for now, it's not working. So please do not come out of the process. Don't worry about what it looks like right now because God is working something out in this. I know it sucks. I have been there thinking, okay, this is my time. I fasted. I prayed. I'm doing Bible study. I'm doing mental health. I'm speaking. I'm helping people. This is my time. And what happens? Burnout. The idea gets rejected. It doesn't hit as much views as I thought. Things happen, but at the right time, the Lord, will make it happen. So keep going. Yes, this hurts. It 100% hurts. But work the process. Speak to your therapist. Be vulnerable with them. Let them know the true reason why you're there. And if you don't know, don't worry. We are trained to work with what you give us to unravel it. I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of two people sitting on couches and it's like a yarn ball of like completely tangled lines, and then it's going to this other person and they're kind of like unwinding everything, unraveling it and putting it into organized little balls. Like that's what we do. You're going to tell us, I yelled at this guy, he thought A, B, and C, and I'm going to ask you, how was your relationship with your father? And you're going to tell me, well, it was good, it was bad, he wasn't there. And from there, I know to ask another set of questions. Okay, it was good. What about your relationship with your father was good? Well, he was attentive. He bought me gifts. He was at my, he did acts of service, things of that nature. Okay. Are these qualities that you think should be in a man? Yeah. Okay, now let's go back. What about this guy that you're sitting in front of? What is he doing? Well, he doesn't do A, B, and C. Okay. So do you feel like maybe the qualities aren't lining up? Maybe it's a communication barrier. Maybe the way you're saying it, he's not really receiving it. How did you speak with your friend? Do your friends understand you when you speak? Like, we know to ask certain questions to get you to kind of solve your own puzzles. There are many times I joke with my clients because I'll say a line, hey, how was your week? And then they're like, they just go off. And then I put one question in and they are solving their own issues. Like they're talking it out. And they're like, I don't understand why I didn't know it at the time. Sometimes it just takes a question. It takes the right time for you to come out of it. So please know that there is a timing for everything under the sun. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There is a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to grow, a time to find, a time to stop looking. There's a time for everything. But stay in the process that God has you in. Don't come out of it before it's time because you don't want to be thrown away. You don't want to be used and abused because that's what happens when an environment doesn't know what to do with what they have. You can be a great blessing. You can have great products. But if it's not your time, if it's not the right environment, you get used and discarded. Don't step out of line. Don't step out of time. You have all the time in the world to get to where you're going and accomplish what you need to accomplish. Just trust the process. Trust God with your process. I truly hope this message encouraged you if you're in your season of waiting. I've had several. I'm still in one right now. There's always something to wait for. I feel like we as humans, we're always waiting for the next. But I hope that you learn to appreciate your now because I'm sure this was once a prayer for you. Whatever it is that you're dreaming for, keep dreaming, dream bigger. God has that. He is not void on resources. He is not void on blessings. There's no cap with God. So keep dreaming for bigger, but take a moment to look around and see the blessing that you once prayed for that you now have. Don't discount that. Maybe you need to focus on it a little more. Maybe you need to put some TLC into that. Do that. And then work through. Wait for your timing. Wait for the moment when your Pharaoh is having bad dreams and you're there to interpret it. You got this. I hope this message encouraged you. I hope you were able to take some notes or some one-liners that you can use throughout your week to really help you push through. And just remember, trust your process. Trust God with your process. Healing is never canceled, and your mental health as well. Thanks for joining.